it. You're building your own trusses.
Alrighty, we're having fun.
One more, and we're throwing ply. Another way we got it. Yep, I got it. Stay at the halfway point. Nope, now you got it all. Got it? Yep.
The next morning, Cam and I were back on the job site working on the handrails for the steps. He was in charge of backing out the screws on the tread boards that we'd be custom cutting for the 2x4 balusters.
Looks good, buddy. Nice work. Okay. Down one. Come up. Nope. Good job. 24. Yep. So line up to 24. Yep. And then what's the next one?
32.
32.
32.
Is that lined up?
Yep.
Yep.
It's pretty good.
Grab 2 long ones, and we can do the bottom too if you want.
Yay. I like this.
6x6 uprights look exactly like a tree. So what we wanted to do was grab a few paint samples, try and match them up to the trees in the area. And we've got a lot of beech, maple, oak. Unfortunately, we're losing a lot of the ash. There's quite a few of those around, but wanted to really kind of get a close match to that, because what we're going to end up doing is painting these 6x6s straight through the corners all the way to the top to resemble a tree trunk. And in addition to that, across the sides, we're going to paint branches and really give it some detail. Okay, so I ran these samples across a variety of different trees around the perimeter of this tree stand, and settled in on 2 colors, and I think together they're really going to look good. You know, once you get that bark detailing painted in, it's definitely not going to be something as simple as just throwing paint on there with a brush or a roller and you're done. I really want to put some time into this, really make these 4x4s and 6x6s really blend into this landscape and become a part of the woods.
I like this one. This is good. This ladder needs to be about 5 foot higher. So where's the piece of wood?
You got 2 drills, one big one, one
22.
little one.
One's an impact, one's an impact, one's a drill. That's a driver. What do you want, Chris? Is that the way it fits with the
Yep,
trees?
yep.
Okay. Heads up. Look at that.
Like a buzz.
Just fit it into that corner and then we can decide what to trim. I don't think you have to trim anything. Don't trim anything. Screw it. I need screws. Why would you go up there without screws?
He had a tool bag.
Maybe, we'll see. Westerly winds come this way.
Oh,
What?
stop. Get going.
I got it. What stuff? Need a screw?
Yeah. So if you can you hold the screw and then all the drill? Is that, don't stretch too much.
Anything's gonna work. We'll stick a screw on the end and do Hey, remember, at least you're not 16 feet.
Yeah.
Need help?
Where's the other 2 elders? They're sitting on the tailgate and Stump drinking a beer.
September 1st, man, it's hunting mode.
Yeah, really.
Hunting mode.
Did you guys find your way?
We made it.
Weed. Oh, there it is. I was gonna say you got sprayed.
Had to stop water with flowers there on the right.
This gives a whole new meaning to the term laying down on the job.
All right, time to throw some paint on these vertical uprights, the 4x4s, the 6x6s, 2x4s from the steps, anything that's vertical. I got 2 different colors of exterior paint. Help those blend in a little better with the trees. So get to that. Now that I've got the base coat on this 6x6, I'm gonna give it the bark texture look. And there's, I mean, really no rhyme or reason to this. It's just kind of, you know, channeling your inner Bob Ross and paint happy trees wherever you want. So with the two-tone look, I'm just gonna kind of feather it in a little bit and give it some darker looks. And again, you can't screw it up. It's whatever you think looks good, just throw your brush to it. And then just gonna feather right over top of it. You're gonna keep that base coat shining through. The texture of your heavier color, wherever you feel like putting it. And however you feel like feathering it out. That works.
Perfect size.
Just put a line for 19.5. Well, here we are 1 year later.
A lot of work went into this project, and pretty happy with how it turned out.
A lot of fun work.
A lot of fun work. Some challenging components, specifically the concrete, just because of the sheer physical labor required to get it in here. And the roof was a little challenging. But overall, it was a pretty smooth project. We had minimal issues.
It was all drawn out pretty good, and the only thing I think that we changed along the way was adding the deck after we had the plans drawn.
Correct, yeah. And we moved the door location over
A little bit, yeah.
to try to improve the flow inside the hunting compound, as we're calling it. So this is kind of a closeout review of the project, of the series, yeah. And we'll give you a walkthrough, final walkthrough, and look forward to seeing some action out of the newest addition to the hunting locations on the property here.
Yesterday we cut a couple of shooting lanes, and really, I mean, the only thing we got left to do is finish installing the last 2 windows.
And staining them.
Yeah, stain them, and I think that's it. Really, just cleaning up, getting the 2 bags out of here.
So Chris Chris and Caden came out here and did a really nice job with some camouflage accents on the building to try to blend it in with the surrounding, just so it doesn't stick out.
Yeah, the color samples didn't quite match the end. I noticed they're a little, I don't know what the word is. Like the color samples match the trees almost perfectly, but they're definitely a little different tone than what we have around.
It works well though, you know, from 75 yards away you can almost start to see it, but it blends in really well. One component of this project that we really tried to focus on was accessibility. Now these guys, they can pretty much climb straight up a tree no problem, so we weren't worried about them getting into it. But we tried to focus on the older generation, my dad, my uncle, and making it more accessible for them to get in. You know, as you get older, it's harder to get around. In this case, they can run the quad right to the tree stand and walk right up the steps, get in here, and they can still be in the woods enjoying themselves. The other addition to this project was this, the front porch. This porch is 4 feet by 8 feet, and it has an overhang cantilevered roof. And the idea behind this was, you come up the steps to get in the stand, it's pouring down rain, and you're messing with the door and you got your gear. It's just nice to come up to a spot, you can stop. It won't shield all the snow and the rain, but it's gonna be a nice spot to stop, take your gear off, get the door open, get your gun off your shoulder, and get into the compound. But it also has the added bonus that we put a bench out here, and on nice days like today, if season was open, you have an amazing 270-degree vantage point from this porch where you could be outside of the building with one person and you could be hunting out here, which is great. So it works out well. Let's go inside. Inside we have 2 windows on each wall, with the exception of the wall the door's on. And these were the homemade windows that we might have talked about in some of the earlier episodes of this series, where when some of the department stores were going out of business locally here, we were able to get in there and buy some of the tempered glass that they use for their shells. And it worked out great. I just used some woodworking tools, made some frames, put a bevel on there, put some caulking in, and they work great as windows at a cost of probably a few dollars for the wood and the caulking. So these turned out well, several $100s in savings if you've ever priced windows. Bare minimum, they're about $100 a piece for something like this. We just put them on hinges, they fold up. We still have some barrel latches that we have to install to keep them up and secure, as well as when they're closed, it'll keep them secure into the walls. But from this location, there's about 150 yards of visibility down through the shooting lanes that we cut, and it's really comfortable to accommodate 3 people, 1 on each corner and then the doorway. Beverage?
No, thank you.